Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you could play a song called Time Has Told Me by Nick Drake. And it starts out with a really cool little intro that's almost around some bass notes where you'd start 3rd fret on the low E string and kind of play that 3 times. And then we go open A, and then we kind of play open A some more, but then we go to 1st fret on the A, and then open A, and then 3rd fret on the A, and then we go to 2nd on the D, 3rd on the D, 2nd on the D, 3rd on the D, and then open A, 1st on the A, open A, and then 3rd fret on the A. And you kind of hear some cool hits actually through kind of our verse chorus around some chords through that. So you got 3, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 1, 0, 3. And the chords that are kind of getting implied with that would start on a C major chord. And the way you play C major, 1st finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really happy. And then from the C major, we go into an F major chord. There's a couple ways you might want to think about playing F major. You can take your 1st finger and do it across the entire 1st fret. We'll talk about something that's not quite this difficult in a moment. But then you can take your 2nd finger and go G string on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string, 3rd fret, pinky on the D string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now if you're just starting out, you could substitute in something called F major 7 for that chord. When you play F major 7, 1st finger goes to the B on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G on the 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the D string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E, that sounds an F major, and it sounds really happy. And then that 1st fret on the A string hit actually kind of implies for just a moment a B flat major chord. And you can actually completely ignore this chord for the rest of the song, but if you're kind of going for those hits, you could do 1st finger as kind of a bar on 1st fret, 2nd finger goes to the D on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, and the pinky goes to the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B flat major. Now for myself, and what's easier with the song though, is to kind of just take the 3rd finger and kind of bar the D, G, and B, and that sounds a B flat major. So you can kind of work that hit as kind of the C, da, da, F, F, B flat, F, C, C, F, C, F, F, B flat, F, C. It's kind of those hits through the beginning. Now the meter though, or the strum pattern that we kind of work with this, is kind of a 3/4 strum pattern. And what that means is you'd be tapping your foot 3 times on the floor for each of our chords for the most part. And those hits kind of take the place of some of the strumming. But a really easy way to kind of approach it would be working off a down, down, up, down, up for your strum pattern. So if you took the C and just tried that a lot, you'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Now through the song though, you hear this cool variation of that where you kind of do a down, up, 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 down, up. So when we actually hit our verse chorus, actually that C is almost, the first C is kind of like our intro C. And then from there, then we start going into our verse chorus progression. And our verse chorus starts on the F major, and you could kind of just ignore these B flats and do another F, and then go to C, and then we do another C, and then we go back to F, and then we do another F, and then we go back to C, and then we do another C. But then we hit a C7 chord, and we play C7. If you take the C major chord we're on and kind of take your pinky and go to the G string on the 3rd fret, then if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C7 chord, or a C dominant 7 chord. It sounds a little nasty. So I got 1st finger on the B string, 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D 2nd, 3rd finger on the A string 3rd, pinky on the G string 3rd. And then from the C7, we're going to be going to an F major chord, and then another F major chord, and then we go to a D minor chord. We play D minor. 1st finger goes to the high E on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D minor chord, and it sounds really sad. And then from the D minor, we're going to be going to a G major chord. When we play G major, 1st finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger goes to the low E string on the 3rd fret, and 3rd finger goes to the high E on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really happy. You end up repeating that a lot through the song. So if we're going to try that with kind of our down, down, up, down, up, we'd have F, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down. on that other variation of that, then you'd have F with a down, up, down, up, down, C, F, C, C7, F, D minor, G major. And we'll basically be repeating that until we get to our bridge part. And on our bridge part, we go to an E major chord. When we play E major, first finger goes to the G string on the first fret, second finger goes to the A on the second fret, third finger goes to the D on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E major chord to sound really, really happy. Now from the E major, we're going to go to an E flat major chord. A really easy way to play an E flat is if you take the first finger and go to the G on the third fret, second finger on the high E on the third fret, and third finger on the B string on the fourth fret. And if you strum the top three strings, that sounds like E flat major. And then from the E flat major, we're going to go into an A flat major chord. When you play A flat major, first finger goes across the entire first fret, second finger goes to the G on the fifth fret, third finger on the A string on the sixth fret, and the pinky on the D string on the sixth fret. And you may notice that's exactly the same shape as the F major, but now it's an A flat major because we're barred on fourth fret. Now if you're just starting out with bars, you just want to avoid that chord. And a lot of times you can take the skinny few strings and make smaller versions of that chord. So you could kind of take the first finger and go over the E and the B on the fourth fret, second finger on the G string, fifth fret, and the third finger on the D string on the sixth fret. That might feel a little bit easier when you're just starting out. And then from the A flat major, we're going to be going to a D major chord, which looks a lot like our E flat actually. We're going to take first finger and go to the G on the second fret, second finger on the high E on the second fret, and third finger on the B string on the third fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds like a D major chord. That sounds really, really happy. So we tried that with kind of our down, down, up, down, up. We'd have E major. Tried that with our down, down, up, down, up. We'd have E with a down, down, up, down, E, E flat, A flat, D major. Or if we kind of digging on that variation, then we could do the E, E flat, A flat, D major. And then from there, then we'll be going back into our verse chorus. Now one other thing I would think about adding to this song though is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, or the down, down, up, you can do kind of a bass note. So on the F major bar, you'd have the low E string for your bass. On the C chord, you'd have the A string for your bass. If you're doing the F major 7, you'd have the D string for your bass. And I'm thinking bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, up. And then on the D minor and the D major chord, you have the D string for your bass. And then when we get to the G major, then you have the low E string for your bass. On the E major, you have the low E string for your bass. On the E flat, you could kind of fade that on the G string. Or if you're doing kind of the smaller A flat, you could kind of fade that on the D string. If you're doing the full bar A flat, you'd have the low E string for your bass. So if we try that next verse chorus with kind of a bass down, up, we'd have F with the bass down, C with an A bass, F with the bass, C with an A bass, C7, F major, D minor, G major. Or if we try it with that variation, we could kind of work it as kind of a bass, up, down, bass, up, down, and C, F, C, C7, F, D minor, G major. Or what might be cool too is to kind of mix that up. And you could kind of get in those intro licks too, actually. If you wanted to, you could kind of work it off of kind of the F, B flat, F, C, C, F, C, and kind of make those hits from the intro kind of happen. So F, B flat, F, C, C, F, C, F, B flat, F, C, C, F, C, C7, bridge part. So we could kind of try the bridge part with kind of that bass idea. And we have E major, E flat, D major, or you could even kind of mix up between those two, or when you're doing the bass and when you're not, which could be kind of a cool way to kind of vary it, kind of make it more expressive that way by using variations. And then from there, we'll be going into kind of our last verse chorus. So we're back to kind of our F, B flat, F, C, C, F, C, F, F, B flat, F, C, C, C7, F, E minor, G major, F, C, we got kind of a big C major. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Time Has Told Me by Nick Drake. So good luck!